Hey everybody, and welcome back to another discussion video. So as I mentioned the other day, I was considering doing a video on the Xbox Game Showcase, and originally, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting to do the video today. I'm filming this again, it's past midnight, so it's Monday, June 8th at 12:04. It's just past the date it actually aired. But I figured I would do a video on this because there were actually a lot of pretty cool announcements today. I wasn't expecting a ton. I wanted to see Halo mainly, which I did get, but I think that was a given. But there was some pretty cool stuff out there today that I figured was worth talking about in a video. So this one's going to be a little shorter. My Discord just went off, so I should probably close that out, actually. This one's going to be a bit shorter than the Summer Games Fest discussion, just because there wasn't as much to talk about, but there was some pretty cool stuff still. So I'm going to jump right into it. I'm not really going to cover every single thing, and I'm not even sure what footage you're going to be looking at. Probably similar to the other day. So they started off with Gears of War E-Day, which is a new Gears of War title, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know a ton about Gears of War. I never played any of the games. They never, really appealed to me, but it looks pretty cool. From what I know, it's a prequel game, and I was very impressed with it graphically as well. I realized it was probably captured off of a PC, although actually I'm not entirely sure about that. That might not be true, because the big thing to talk about here was the fact that it's an Xbox console exclusive. I don't know if it's coming to PC also, I didn't really catch that part, but they did make it a point to say it was a console exclusive, which I'm pretty happy for, because I think Xbox needs to sort of step up their game with competition against PlayStation mainly. I'm a fan of both. I was mainly a PS4 user during the previous generation. This generation, I'm kind of split between both consoles. I switch back and forth. But it's no secret that they definitely need a bit more competition, PlayStation. So it's nice to see an actual pretty I would say a pretty big title getting the exclusivity treatment. And hopefully it's like a good sign of the future of Xbox as well, really just focusing on Xbox as a console instead of a brand. So that's mainly what I have to say about this game. It was nice to see that it's a exclusive title for the Xbox, because I think those are very sorely needed. I'm pretty sure this is out of order because I have the Xbox, the little graphic pulled up that they posted on their social medias after the show. But next up on their graphic, at least, is Modern Warfare 4. I don't have a lot to talk about that game. I've never been a huge Call of Duty fan. I've played a bit of Cold War. That's probably the most I've played. But I'm not even going to dwell on that. I mean, we knew it was coming. The next one that I really want to talk about, and I just mentioned at the beginning, is Halo Campaign Evolved. And that game looks very good. I'm really excited for that game. They started it out with a trailer and gameplay of the new missions they added, which look very cool. The graphics, the game graphically looks very, very good. And it looks great. I'm excited for that. We got a release date as well, July 28th, I believe, which is pretty nice. I had heard the rumors of a July release date, so I wasn't super super but I am happy that it wound up being true, because I really, really want to play that game. I actually just got the pre-install process started on my Xbox, probably 20 minutes before filming this video. They also showed more gameplay of the new Metro game. Again, nothing I'm super, super interested in, but I know it's a pretty big deal to a lot of people. And again, it looked pretty decent. A lot of these games looked pretty good. They had a lot of big names today at this show. Speaking of big names, they also showed Fable once again. which that's a game I'm kind of keeping an eye on. I never played any of the previous Fable games, but I'm pretty sure this one is like a reboot of sorts, because I'm looking at the graphic and it just says Fable. It's not like Fable 4 or Fable 3. I don't know which one it would have been. I think Fable 4. It's just Fable, so I imagine it's sort of a new jumping off point for the series. I wasn't able to tell that's what it was at first, though. I mean, they rolled the trailer, and compared to the tone of the previous trailer we got, I think last summer, this one seemed a little more serious, so that was interesting to see. I don't think we've seen gameplay yet still, which is surprising, because at least according to my Xbox, the release date is early next year. So I mean, I guess they got plenty of time to get that all sorted out, but, you know, hopefully we see gameplay soon, because that's a game I'm kind of interested in. There's Minecraft Dungeons 2, which, you know, I never played the first one, so I don't have much to talk about there. There was a new Hellblade game, or a spin-off, I believe. I'm not entirely sure. A lot of just small announcements, really. I mean, not small announcements. None of this is small. I wouldn't say any of this is small. They announced a new State of Decay game. I think a Plague Tale game. I didn't even realize. I'm looking at it right now. It says Resonance, a Plague Tale Legacy. So I guess that's a new Plague Tale game. But they did make it a point towards the end of the show to highlight Clockwork Revolution again. And that's a very interesting game. I mean, when they showed it off originally, again, I think last year, I was pretty interested in it. I thought it looked pretty cool. And I am definitely going to follow that game. I don't believe it has a date yet. They ended it with a 2027 sort of release window. And it does look cool from the gameplay we got. It looks interesting. And it's another Xbox exclusive. They announced that this one is a console exclusive as well. So I guess they have a lot riding on this game, really. They have expectations for it. And I don't blame them. It looks pretty cool. Again, I'm going completely out of order with this just because of the graphic they put up. But I'm going to save some of the bigger ones for last. I already talked about some of them. But they showed off a new Doom game. Personally, I haven't really been playing any of those games since Eternal came out. But it's cool to see a new game. I said this the other day. It's cool to see a new game in the series announced so soon after the last one. Because The Dark Ages was like just 2 years ago or something like that. So it's nice to see that they're ready to show off another one already. They highlighted the new Castlevania game again. That's nothing new. They showed a custom update for Sea of Thieves, which is pretty cool. They were talking about like their online games. They showed off stuff for the Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76. Nothing I really paid attention to. I haven't played a ton of either of those games. They showed off another new game, Magicians: The Devil's Deal. That game looked pretty cool. It's another new IP. I don't know off the top of my head who's developing it. I'm sure they said. But it looked pretty interesting. At first, it kind of reminded me of BioShock in a way. I guess it still does with the powers, really. I mean, you have magic powers. You're a magician, and you use a wand to defeat enemies. It looks very unique and very cool. So that's a game I'm definitely going to continue following, because it just looks pretty interesting. There was a new Age of Empires game. There was a new... I'm scanning this graphic just to try to find stuff that's like... I want to save the big stuff for last, but they announced a new flight simulator update, so that I know that was a pretty big deal to people, because I know there are a lot of people that like that game. And they finally... I guess I'm going to start getting into the big stuff. Actually, not yet. They showed off some pretty cool, I believe, independent games as well. One of them that they announced was a game called Bad Magpie, which everything about it just looked completely up my alley. The art style, the kind of wacky, strange, goofy gameplay. It's definitely a game I'm going to be following. and potentially picking up. I do believe, I'm not sure if this one is coming to Game Pass. I know a lot of these games I mentioned, they did say are coming to Game Pass. So that might be one of them. And if that's the case, I'll definitely play them. I mean, some of these I'm going to play regardless, but having them on Game Pass definitely, I'd say, gives more of an incentive to try some of these out, for me personally, because some of these are games I really regularly wouldn't try out. They also showed another really, really cool looking indie game called, I don't know how to pronounce it exactly, but I believe it's Vivarium, which is a heavily, I'd say like late 70s, early to mid 80s anime style, like influenced game. It looked like a mix of Animal Crossing, I'd say. Another game I kind of got the vibes of, and maybe somebody else watching this video will agree with me if you've played the game, but Moon Remix RPG. It gave me those vibes as well. Some of the bigger announcements, they announced a revival of Crazy Taxi, which I know we were expecting at some point because of that. I think it was like a trailer Sega put out, like some video they put out back in, I want to say it was like the fall or like December of 22 at this point, where they put out a video where they showed like a bunch of games that were in development as well, and we saw Jet Set Radio, which we're still waiting on. I'm pretty sure we saw Crazy Taxi in there as well, and then we saw like some of the Persona stuff that wound up coming out. So we finally got to see Crazy Taxi officially. I guess that other trailer was official as well, but we finally got to see gameplay of it, and it looked pretty cool. They also finally showed off some gameplay and a proper trailer for the Persona 4 remake. Speaking of Persona though, this is again a pretty huge announcement. They finally gave us a teaser for Persona 6, and it looks very, very interesting. Again, I'm saying this as somebody who's not a huge fan of the series anymore. It definitely grabbed my attention. It looked very interesting. If you've played 5, you know that game was lighthearted in tone. Maybe not in story, but in the tone of the game, it was a very lighthearted, kind of a fun, not super serious game when it comes to the tone and the themes. The themes were maybe a little heavy, but nothing super serious. So this trailer for Persona 6, they opened it up with what I'm pretty sure was a graveyard. And it looks incredibly serious. Again, as somebody who's not super into the series anymore, it definitely grabbed my attention. It reminds me a lot of the vibes of Persona 3. Like, everybody's been waiting so long for this game, and if it matches the tone of 3, I might have to give it a try. I'm not sure. But I'd say that was probably one of the biggest announcements today, because everything else we kind of knew about. Aside from the new IP games and the, I guess, little indie games. But the last thing that's actually massive, actually huge, that I almost forgot to talk about, is the revival of Spyro. They announced a brand new Spyro game. So they showed both of those trailers back to back. They showed the Persona 6 teaser, and then afterwards it was just another world premiere title card or whatever they write. And I was like, oh wow, 2 in a row. And then they showed the Activision logo, and that kind of brought my hype down a bit, because Activision, I figured it was like another shooter game or something. But then they showed the world, and I immediately recognized it as Spyro, so my excitement shot right back up. I'm not gonna lie, I have never finished a Spyro game, but I do know how big of a deal this is. Especially with Rayman back as well. Now Spyro's coming back. All of these old console mascots are returning, and it's very exciting to see these developers and these companies actually giving recognition to these pretty important and integral IP from their past. So that was very exciting to see. And that's a game I'm definitely going to have to try out, and I'm also probably going to have to go back and play through the older Spyro games as well in the meantime, because I'm sure I missed out on a lot of cool stuff, because I've never finished a Spyro game before. But it was still very, very exciting as somebody who's just a fan of, you know, the older, I guess at this point, older kind of video games with like mascot characters and more fun, cartoony characters from like the PS2 era. It's nice to see a lot of these characters coming back. And so, again, we got Crash back, we got Rayman coming back, and we got Spyro coming back. So it'd be cool to see, I don't know, Sly Cooper come back next. Maybe some of the other PlayStation IP, Ape Escape, that would be cool. I know a lot of people are asking for that as well. But this is an Xbox video, so I'm not going to go on that tangent right now. But that was about it for the game announcements. And the final thing that I really want to talk about is they announced a brand new Series X edition. And it looked very, very cool. Now, I'm mixed on this console because the price just got, you know, a price hike a couple months ago to like $700 or so. And I got my Series X, I think, just before the price hike happened. And this console looks very cool because it's based on the original Xbox. It's a translucent green Series X with a controller to go right alongside it. And I know it's all marketing, but it kind of is working a little bit because I definitely want one of these, but I am going to hold off because, again, the price increase happened. And if I bought one of these and then sold my current Series X, I wouldn't make that money back, as tempting as it may be. But luckily, for anybody who's interested in this, they are selling the controller separately as well. It says so on their website. I looked into this again about like 20 minutes before starting this video because I was curious, and I really want the controller at least, so I'll probably pick one of those up. But yeah, it's an interesting time because yes, it is the anniversary of the Xbox as a brand, but they are releasing this limited edition special console probably a year or two before the whatever Project Helix winds up being comes out. So that's another reason I don't think I could justify picking up one of these, because if Project Helix really does take off, I'd prefer that instead. But the controller I'll definitely pick up at some point. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here because it's almost a 30-minute video, so again, it's gonna be a lot to edit. But it was a pretty good showcase from Xbox. I'm honestly kind of surprised how cool this showcase was, because usually, Xbox for the past, I don't know, few years has been in a pretty strange spot. I've always liked their consoles and I've always liked their ecosystem, but it's obviously no secret to say that they haven't been doing as well ever since the Xbox One came out. So it's really nice to see them actually trying to course correct here. They seem to be going in the right direction, so I can only hope that they make a comeback. Anything is possible. I mean, people thought Nintendo was doomed with the Wii U, and then they just completely came back with the Switch and flipped the entire perception of their company. So I could definitely see something like that happening with Xbox, especially if it's a hybrid console that can also play Steam games. I mean, that's something that's right up my alley as well. So if it's reasonably priced, and I imagine it'll be over $1,000 because it's basically a PC at that point, but I think that's the direction we're going in with these consoles anyway. If they prove themselves and if they really show off reasons why you should own one of these consoles, I will consider picking one up. And it's nice to see Xbox going in this direction where they're sort of starting to recover a little bit. But that's about it for this video. I've been rambling for nearly half an hour, and this is another video I gotta edit overnight in order to get it out by tomorrow. You should be watching this on June 8th. So yeah, that's it for this discussion video. Thanks for watching. Again, hope you're all having a nice day, nice evening, nice night, whenever you're watching this video. And stay safe, stay healthy, and have a good one. Later.